me interrupt your normally scheduled not safe for news work update with this. It was supposed to be live news update, live news update report. Joining us with a special guest that I was trying to drum up, whatever. Had a great conversation, and unfortunately we were not able to capture all of it on film. We do have some, and we will be returning very soon in the next couple of days to complete on film the second part of this video. So this is a part one of a two-part series so far, in where it kind of explains why there hasn't been a news update posted in over a week, even though a lot of shit has happened. And and we get into it with my man DJ and Metalhead Mercenary. Let's put this battery pack over here. And it was a great conversation. Really enjoyed getting to talk with him live. And I think y'all will enjoy it. It's something that impacts everybody. It's current events. It's not the shooting. We're getting to that. Without further ado.
So welcome to the channel, guys. The 27% gals who watch, according to my analytics or whatever. Special guest today, DJ the Metalhead Mercenary. Trying to be fancy, but I failed. So is what it is. And I know before this recording started, we were talking about the news and stuff. And the whole reason that I started posting newsy shit on this channel was because that I was tired of not seeing news, not getting unbiased news, not getting all the facts. I even, to the point, I've been watching a lot of shit lately on, Iraq and Afghanistan. And there was a video on there that tried to make it into my suggested thing or whatever, and it was pure propaganda for gun control and
no.
And veterans claiming that they knew what an assault rifle was because they used one, and no one should own an AR-15 because it's an assault rifle. And it's just not safe, guys, and shit like that. And
there is an organization out there called Veterans for Gun Control, and it is definitely a minority of our community.
yeah, it's most definitely.
Yeah.
But and nobody has asked, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. Why hasn't there's been a lot of shit going on this week? Why haven't you posted a video? And I have been super busy, and last Monday I was kind of in a zone. You helped me work through, actually.
Yeah.
And I just was not in a place where I could you do this shit over and over and over, especially when you weren't intending it to be a news channel in the first place.
Yep.
And there's just so much negativity and bullshit that comes out at you just nonstop. And you're like, whoa, let's slow down. I'm not trying to fearmonger people, and I feel like I'm doing it to myself by absorbing all of this, and then trying to regurgitate it in little tiny chunks to everyone who watches. And the shit that people don't see, that I don't post, that just really made me be like, I need to take a week off. I didn't even mean to take a week off, but I'm taking a week off of posting shit because I just cannot. I can't do it.
For sure. For sure. I actually have a video coming out next week talking about burnout and just like information overload and like what like you need to take a break from stuff. So, yeah, totally.
Yeah. That said, I did take a week off from the news and shit, but I did pound out two videos that are upcoming. One on my 24-hour pack and an update on the Risky Recondo rig.
Sick.
So,
Yeah, I look forward to
yeah.
those.
So, and I try, you know, a picture's worth a thousand words, but 2 minutes of filming, 45 minutes of editing, and a 40-second clip says a lot more for me. It allows me to be creative, and I think it's funny. Did I tell you that this morning I put that old Cabela's 30 millimeter hunting scope on my AR, and I put the mount on the barrel side of the receiver on purpose and posted it in a forum and just people roasted me so fast I couldn't even make the comments I wanted to make before I was like, guys, I swear I know what I'm doing. I did this shit on purpose and y'all are just what the fuck, guys? It was hilarious. I mean, they roasted the fuck out of me.
I love like fun trolling like that where it's like you know what you're doing and like you're just doing it for the lulz and to get that kind of response because it's funny. It's like the I think I've sent you the meme before. It's like an image of a dude with an AR and he's got model train rails on bolted on the side of the model train. it's rails.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah,
So
that's basically what I've done the last 7 or 8 days is just troll people online. I've consumed a lot of information, but I have trolled a lot of shit. Just, I had one guy, what was it? It was that, was it the most interesting man in the world clip or whatever, that 8 second video that I posted on here on YouTube. I already had someone come comment on there having guns in the home makes it not safe. And I was like, you're totally right. And all my shit's airsoft and Minecraft, buddy.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Just, you like the comment, you heart it.
Yeah.
I had one person comment and say, you know, wearing that mask doesn't really hide you. They know who you are. And I commented back and said, well, yeah, but I'm not wearing the mask for them. And like 45 minutes later, they deleted that comment. They're like, oh shit, it's hiding from me. Yeah, dumbass. I know.
Right. Right.
Trust me, this shit gets hot. I don't want to keep wearing this all the time.
Right. Yeah. Gets hard to breathe in out in the field too, wearing it all the time. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I would much rather paint my face and run around in the woods all day than have to wear this. But I do too much where I'm in and out of urban that it would be a pain in the ass to have to wash face paint off my face all the time, just carrying around baby wipes and shit, makeup remover.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, not.
I play in black metal bands and corpse paint up sometimes. I know. I know.
Yes, I used to do that. I worked at Hard Rock and I wore, yeah, I used to have to go and get beauty makeup. I also worked in a factory that dealt with pigments. I used to have to get makeup remover just to take fucking pigment
Just take the
off
crap
off
off.
my skin. Yeah, so I would
That's
much
funny.
rather do it, but it's a pain in the ass. Not only to hide all your shit on the outskirts of town, but make sure you didn't leave anything on your ear. You just take
Right.
the mask off.
Right.
God. Uh, so I was trying to think. I know there was two things I wanted to talk about, uh,
Um.
and one of them was the VA bill, but I had a segue into that. And ever since I thought about that segue, I have forgotten what the fuck the other thing was I wanted to talk about, and I cannot for the life of me remember.
Well, I know you wanted to talk about World War III too, so or the prospect
Yeah,
thereof.
that that might be its own conversation because I feel like that's a long conversation in itself.
It is. There's a lot to cover there. Yeah, yeah, there is.
Um, but so for the past week or so, I have been watching a lot of Iraq and Afghanistan documentaries. People who are over there, like a father-son news duo and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. Um, and I know from talking to my buddy, and we've talked about this.
yep,
People who remember, who actually are old enough to remember 9/11 and remember that shortly for a little while, a brief window after 9/11 was probably, and I hate to say this, but it was the last time in American history that a wave of pride and unity and compassion swept across the entire nation, and we all came together under one prefix, which was fuck Osama bin Laden, let's go get the Taliban.
yep, yeah.
And people like my buddy signed up, and the whole reason they signed up was to go get the Taliban. And then they didn't even go to Afghanistan; they went to Iraq instead. He
Same.
wasn't even he wasn't even run out of Afghanistan yet, and when he did, he went to Pakistan. But let's go to Iraq anyways,
Yep.
and just have horrendous fucking tours over there that are getting extended 40, 60, 86 days past your 1 year, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Come home. There's not, I mean, the help is a little bit better than it was for, say, like World War II and Vietnam, but it's nowhere near like it is today. And we can both agree
Yeah.
on
Oh
that.
yeah.
20 years ago help versus today's help is way different.
Oh yeah. Worlds apart. The medical advances and the requirement and pushing for funding and progress with medical technology and everything across the board was fueled by the GWAT, the Global War on Terror, and OIF and OEF and stuff. Because like those first couple of years, yeah, really up even through like 2008, 2009, it was a big learning curve for both military medical programs and the VA. Yeah, it very sharp learning curve, and it took a lot fairly quickly for them to adapt and improve on things to and then continue to improve to where you see it now, you know, from even that point. Because like back then, you know, 05, 06, 07, you know, and earlier, like if a dude suffered an injury from an IED or something, a lot of the time it was an amputation. Nowadays, like they're getting to the point where they can actually save the limb now and everything. So that's a big step, you know. And just other things with that, you know, TBI study for traumatic brain injury and all that, and blast injury, and then of course PTSD therapy and everything too. So it's come a very long way in a very fairly short period of time compared to the benchmark of what it was before 9/11. Absolutely.
I remember hearing years ago, I remember hearing that if in Vietnam, if a guy could get to the chopper within a set amount of time, he had a 50% chance of making it.
Yeah.
And uh, within a year or two of GWAT already starting, if a guy could get it to the chopper within that same amount of time, he had a 90% chance of making it.
Yep. We call that the golden hour. So basically an hour from injury to getting on Casevac or getting on a helicopter or whatever and getting to medical the field hospital medical care. Yeah. Huge increase in percentage of survivability with that golden hour rule. Yeah, it's come a long way. I think I mentioned the golden hour rule too in my last video on the tech med tips thing, which is just an overview of basic emergency aid response for like, you know, your everyday kind of stuff, car accidents and things like that, but also how it applies like for the military with TCCC and all that stuff too. So yeah, that was a big thing. Golden hour. Golden hour was a big one, you know, and that took time too to develop even in the GWAT, you know, early on, to the point where by, you know, really like 06, 07, 08, like in that bracket kind of is where we really started to refine that and be that effective with a 90% survival rate. So
Yeah, that was, I mean, that's pretty good if you think about the correlation between those numbers.
yeah,
That was a really good improvement.
yeah,
Um, You're like
big,
40 something. The math, I can't remember, but it's like 46% increase or some shit like that
yeah,
over the
yeah,
norm.
yeah,
Uh, that's pretty amazing. Um, Also, I will link DJ's channel down below. Maybe try to put a thing up in the cards or something. I can actually do that. I figured that much of this out. So if you're interested in some of any of the stuff that we're talking about, and he mentions that he's talked about, you can find that stuff down there. Go check him out. I share his stuff all the time to the community tab. So make sure you're
yeah,
involved in the community tabs for both of us because he asks questions and does Q's and A's and stuff. And this is kind of like
yeah,
combining our two channels to do that.
yeah,
But the whole reason I brought up the GWAT thing, specifically the going to Iraq when we really wanted to go to Afghanistan, and really wasn't in Afghanistan as much as it was the Taliban, uh, and how this relates to current events or the most current event is this fucking VA bill, which
yeah,
basically says, you know what, we're going to send guys to a place that they didn't even want to be at to fight for a war that wasn't even what we said we were going over there initially to do. We expected this many of them to hold off, this many of them for this extended period of time, and then and not even give them really good care when they come back over. And then once we finally figure out, oh shit, maybe we fucked up a little bit, we need to give them something. Let's go ahead and take all this away from them. Is what they're basically trying to do. Hey,
yeah,
thanks for going over there and risking your life. Fuck you. We're not giving you anything. That's
yeah,
how I'm still
yeah,
a little
yeah.
pissed off about it.
Oh yeah, well, me too. And it's the Congressional Budget Office, so it's the budgetary analysis and proposal and review office for all of Congress's budgeting and as it pertains to legislation and everything. So the thing in question, it's not a bill yet; it's a proposal with several assessments attached to it. I think there's like 4 or 5 documents in question specifically about DoD military health benefits funding and stuff, along with a lot of that being the meat and potatoes, covering the VA, what they want to do with the VA in cut benefits for, firstly, for veterans that make over a certain amount of money for their household income. So that's between them and their spouse. Angry Cops also did a good video on this. Also, veterans are kind of broken down into different tiers of care groups based on their injuries and like a bunch of other stuff, their compensation, disability ratings and stuff. So the veterans at the lowest groups, I think it's groups 8 and 9, they were also proposing just completely cutting off their disability compensation benefits and stuff too, along with medical care, and making them pay a copay, kind of like what we did with TRICARE healthcare in the military, which is abhorrent. When you're above a certain disability rating threshold and things like that with VA disability, you don't pay anything. If you make over a certain amount, even now, and if you elect for certain kinds of healthcare programs, whether it's TRICARE or otherwise, as it connects to VA healthcare, sometimes you have to pay a copay. But if you're doing if you have just VA healthcare, it's all no cost to the veteran, and that's part of what they want to do away with as well. If you make under a certain amount each year, then you, from what I understand, unless you're in those low bracket rated care group bundles, you can keep all your benefits. Nothing really changes. But once you hit above that, and it was something like total median household income for a whole family of like $130,000 or something like that. That's between both the like a husband and a wife or whatever, is pretty insane. But there's a lot of other factors to it too that they were trying to propose in with it, like that means test and a bunch of other stuff that would affect every veteran, and especially veterans at the lowest and at the higher end of the brackets, which is just messed up. It's like, okay, so you're not allowed to be successful as a veteran who is disabled, and be punished for that, as much as being at the lowest bracket of care and attention from the VA and get punished for that too. It's messed up, because like some of those veterans in the category 8 and 9 brackets or whatever, I mean, they're homeless, and some of that other stuff. So it's absolutely abhorrent is one of the best words I've found to explain, to describe it. Just abhorrent that they would even think of doing that kind of thing and putting it towards a bill to be voted on in Congress and made into law. It's insanity. So yeah, the whole thing is ridiculous. And the director of the VA, the chief, the director, the head guy of the VA, who's also a veteran, actually opposed it as well. And he's like, it's crazy to think that this could be a thing. He was vehemently against it too, which means if the director of the VA is against it, that's going to be a lot of pull and influence in shutting that down before it even becomes something that can be put into a bill for voting and proposal. So some progress has been made in opposition to that and getting it shut down, but it still could possibly find its way into a bill to be voted on in the future, which is very troubling. So
I think it's already bullshit that some levels when you go into the military. Not, I'm not saying that all military are like fucking football and basketball stars and should all get $1 million a year for a contract or whatever. I also don't think that they should be getting that much money, but whatever. We're a capitalist system. Do
yeah.
you? But I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit that we're like, yeah, we're going to send you over to Iraq and Afghanistan, and you might lose a limb or your life, but we only think that should be paid $42,000 a year. Oh, and really shitty health care that we're not going to help you cover
Right.
and make you wait forever to get.
Right. Right. Federal.
Thanks for putting your life on the line for us.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's literally just federal, workman's disability compensation. It's the same as what you would get in any other job. In essence, really, in principle, it's what you would get at any other job. If you got hurt on the job because of the nature of the job or whatever, an accident at work or whatever, and by law, you have to, you get covered and you get taken care of, but then nope, fuck you. It would be like that for anything else. And it is a law. It is federal law now that any veteran's disability is a shall pay process, just like Social Security and several other things that by law the government has to pay no matter what. Even if the government completely shut down and is already broke but shut down and was not functioning, those programs still have to be paid. So,
And they should, by
yeah,
all rights and intents and purposes and all that shit, however you want to say it, you sign that line and make that sacrifice, that should be, that I don't mind paying taxes for that.
right.
That's what my taxes are supposed to go for. That's one of the things they're supposed to go for. It's supposed to make sure that I can drive down the road to work so that I can pay those taxes.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make sure that my country is secure and I can sleep in peace at night, knowing that I'm not going to get shell shocked from the motherland next door. It makes
Right.
sure that the guy who goes to make sure that I can sleep in peace at night can also sleep in peace at night when he comes home. And it goes to conserve the things that this country holds, like national parks and refuge and
Yeah.
like the conservative side of that conservation is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to be taking care of. All this other fucking overreach bullshit is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Overreach and bullshit.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, and 27% of gals that watch this channel, if this is impacting you or making you curious or firing you up and you're pissed off, it's been what, 8 days, 9 days since we talked about this
Yep.
initially, and I'm still fucking mad. But if you're pissed off about this, and like DJ said, it's not a bill yet, they're talking about it. Now's the time to get a hold of your representative and be like, listen, I I oppose this with like vehemently oppose this, and you're my representation. I'm your constituent, you're my representation, and I say this is bullshit, say no. And if you don't say no, then I'm going to put someone in here who will. It's okay to tell them that because they work for you. You're the
Yep.
boss.
Yep.
If this affects you, which it should affect every 100% of everyone watching that is in the United States, this affects you. Whether you're a vet or you know a vet or you have no clue what the fuck we're talking about, the fact that someone is out there right now giving you the ability to not know what the fuck we're talking about right now affects you. You have to, your voice has, I've already tried in 4 different states. Like, I was born in Florida, so that counts. I live in Georgia, so that counts. I spent the longest amount of time in Tennessee, so that counts. And Kentucky's a Commonwealth, but you know what?
Still
That's
counts.
where that's where he was. That's where my buddy lived at. So I'm playing the sympathy card for there. So I've reached out to 4 states.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's how mad I am about this, and I think other people should do that too. And
100%.
I know that the way that things are going, current events, it really doesn't seem like our voice matters anyways anymore. And why should I waste my time that 5 minutes to type out an email that I can do from my phone because I can Google my representative and there'll be a link to email them and it'll auto populate the majority of the email for you. But geez, who has the time to type? Take the fucking time.
Yep.
That's why shit is as horrible as it is because who has the time to hit the send button?
Yep.
Take the time. This is an important issue. You can go back to the hot goth chicks and the twerking in a minute. This cannot pass. The
Right,
fucking Gandalf in the whatever. I didn't get to watch those movies, but this shall not pass. You know what I'm saying?
bro. You're well after this. You better start going watching the freaking Lord of the Rings trilogy. That
But
is one of the
I
greatest
I
trilogies ever made.
no. I am a Lucas hound. I will argue this to the death.
OG Star Wars, the original trilogy of Star Wars, is up by far
I
the best
could
trilogy.
not get into watching Lord of the Rings because it's in the channel name. I'm fat, and I was not watching a series of people walking everywhere. Even the trees walked in that movie. And then they get there at the end, and they're like, "Poop, alrighty." I just couldn't do it.
I don't know how much of a reader you are, but the books are fantastic if you want to go that route instead. But
You know, I haven't read Harry Potter either, and my wife cannot stand the fact that I haven't read Harry Potter. But because of
not a
her,
Harry
I've
Potter.
seen all the movies like 16 times.
Yeah, not a fan of that series. No.
I
I grew up with Lord of the Rings though, so it's same with like Dragonlance and stuff, like some of those older like fantasy book series and stuff. You know, the good stuff, playing D&D and all that. But off tangent, yes. As far to round off the veteran discussion bit real quick. So again, Angry Cops. A lot of people know Angry Cops. Go check his channel out. He just did a recent video on this, linking some of the Congressional Budget Office documents. I made a community post not that long ago as well, and I linked all the CBO documents as well. And you can also go to cbo.gov, Congressional Budget Office, and read these documents because they're public documents. Whoever made these documents should be fired, you know. But yeah, you can go read them all and get mad, and yeah, contact your reps like our good man here has said. Go, just you know, everyone in some way or another has connection to a veteran or a current service member, whether it's family, friend, work associate, whatever it is. Somebody knows somebody that's a veteran that this directly will impact. So, help them out and back them on this, and talk to your reps. So that's all I'll say about that right now.
no, that was good.
All right, guys, and then with that, we were actually going into a second part of that conversation. We split this up into a two-parter because while this one's generating, and it's sorry guys, if you made it through the 30 minutes, make sure you smash that like button. Definitely hit the like button for DJ. I'm going to try to remember to link him down in the comments and tag him so that you can go and check out his channel, because he puts out some really good stuff. And he's super knowledgeable, and especially when it comes to veterans and veterans' rights. I don't know that that's ever actually been touched on this channel or not, but I am a huge pro-vet individual, proponent of our veterans. I hold a very near and dear spot in my heart. The impact of those individuals and those circumstances on my life have led me to who I am as a man who I feel like I'm a pretty masculine man with a family. And I mean, what I know, values and morals and stuff, like, man, that's becoming few and far between, right? Yeah, anyways, I'm going on a tangent without meaning to go on a tangent, but what I'm trying to say is I would not be here I would not be where I am today, and I wouldn't be in the mindset that I'm in today about being prepared and taking care of my family I wouldn't be here today without that. And I feel like, you know, I grew up in a time where the POW MIA for Vietnam, you just saw that everywhere, and that's the wars and stuff you studied on, and had relatives in, and, you know, veterans matter. Those guys matter. And then, like, we actually went through a major part of American history. 20 years we just went through the biggest part of history, and people that we know that have affected us have went through history, literal history. And you're learning that stuff, and you're like, man, they deserve all of our help, and all of the fact that there are veterans that are sleeping in a tent, if they're lucky, under an overpass while it's 18 degrees outside, I think is wrong. This is not how this was supposed to go on this channel. Oh my God, this is why I haven't talked about this before. Guys, I am pro vets, pro. You don't have to support the regime that's running the military, but you should be supporting the military and hoping and praying and letting your voice be heard. Hey, you know, we expect these guys, 19 years old, to run off to someplace and spank somebody's hand because they were trying to come in after our oil reserve that we were protecting. And we spanked them so hard they called us and asked us to stop. That literally happened. Like, we expect 19-year-olds to go out and do that. But let's not give them any help or resources when they come home to help them acclimate back to, you're a machine and they're all monsters and they all got to be taken care of, and everywhere is a threat, and everything and everyone wants to kill you. You're a bad motherfucker. Handle this shit. Go home. Don't do that anymore. All right, bye. See you guys. It has come a long way from that. And I don't want to see that happen anymore. I'm very pro-vet. And I feel like we should all be thankful for the military. And I hope that the military remains masculine. And I hope that, I'm just going to say it, I'm questioning where I'm at in my life right now. But I believe that in a time when we all took a moment and said a prayer and believed in something, at least we believed in something, no matter what it was, you know, thank you, Lord, for the opportunity. And then, you know, we handle business and be men and be masculine. I hope that we continue to let that happen. I'm not saying that I'm not getting into the whole men versus women and being in the military thing. That is not what we're doing on this channel. All I'm saying is we expect them to do a lot for us. We should be doing a lot for them in return. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. And I really hope that you guys will take the 5 minutes to say something to your representatives so that we can continue to help these guys and not undo over 70 years of work that has went into making things better. All right. I know that's kind of ending heavy. come back for part 2 because we get spicy. And I appreciate you guys. Remember to get your shit ready because it needs to be ready. And stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. How rude!